Okay, hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. Thank you for coming, everybody. I'm very proud to welcome you all tonight to what is the third in a series of events commemorating the Second Intifada, which is basically organised by media and cultural activists and students, more so this time. And basically our aim is to create a space for all of us to learn from, be inspired by, and to pay tribute to those who are engaged in struggles against imperialism across the world. So the aim of these events is also to provide a space for all of us to meet, to connect, and also to debate issues which are sometimes glossed over, so that we can tackle them in a spirit of progression towards unity and build up a broad network of people that can work together on common aims such as anti-imperialism and anti-racism. So the first event, for those of you who didn't get to make it, was about internationalism and solidarity with Palestine, and with the subheading being, we are not liberating Palestine, Palestine is liberating us. So as the subheading implies, the event was about recognising that as supporters of the Palestinian struggle, we must pay tribute to all Palestinians who on a daily basis are at the forefront of fighting against imperialism. And we can only do that by not trying to give a narrative to their oppression or to their struggle, but first and foremost to take up the task of resisting the common enemy, imperialism, here at home in the belly of empire, and constantly and consistently reflect on the best way to do that. So the second event was held at Bolivar Hall with the generous support of the Venezuelan Embassy, and it was called the Outbreak of the Intifada, Turning Back the Empire. This event, which stressed anti-imperialist unity for Palestine here in the heart of empire, sent alarm bells ringing in the Zionist intelligence circles, and a few threatening articles were published in the Zionist press calling for everyone involved in the event, including the Venezuelan ambassador Samuel Moncada, to be arrested under anti-terrorism legislation. But as they say, if your enemies aren't talking about you, then you're really not doing anything worthwhile. And so we in the Venezuelan Embassy staff went ahead with the event unintimidated, and it went on to be a great success with over 100 people in attendance. So that brings us to tonight's event, which is also the first in this series in 2011. And almost a week after International Women's Day, we're here to look at the question of unity amongst women in the Palestinian Revolution, such as that which we saw amongst women from all political factions, traditions and outlooks in the Second Intifada. And the reason why unity is such a central question is because it is paramount in all struggles against imperialism, but it's also a very difficult thing to build and to achieve, and it requires constant struggle, vigilance and reflection. And women are often used by the Western white male-dominated media industry and political establishment as a tool of division. And to some extent, they have successfully done so, in the sense that those in the West who are interested in the struggles of people in the Muslim world against imperialism often find their commitment to mainly Islamist forces that are amongst those directly fighting empire compromised. This is the result of suffocating levels of Islamophobia and Eurocentrism in the West, which have harboured an unwillingness to understand the role of Islam in social and political life, and thus the life of women. We must, however, remember that it is the system of monopoly, Western monopoly capitalism perpetrated by US European imperialism that is the primary cause of women's oppression today. Its objective is to exclude 50% of the global population from genuinely participating in and influencing society, despite that women are often left to lead the recovery if and when society fails. As Layla Khaled once put it, we shouldn't forget that the capitalist system oppresses and exploits women and takes away their human dignity. This oppression and exploitation is, of course, even more acutely felt by Palestinian women living under the brutal, racist and apartheid Zionist occupation, and those Palestinian women living in exile. But instead of spending an evening focusing on examples of their oppression, which can be found widely elsewhere, We will instead be looking at the incredible women from across Palestinian society who play a variety of roles in resisting the occupation and imperialism. And in this way, we pay tribute to the fact that women can be found at the forefront of all struggles across the world, and their condition as those who are left to maintain society's support systems provides a strong basis for common ground amongst sisters to unify and become a real force to be reckoned with. As leader Fidel Castro said in the early days of the triumph of the Cuban Revolution, organizing women was a revolution within the revolution. But I'd like to end with another quote by Leila Khaled, who said, "In this political moment, the most important issue is that of unifying our people to the terrors of the occupation, and the main basis of unity must be fighting the occupation. Fighting the occupation demands that Palestinian factions are united. It's important to understand the role of the Palestinian masses in achieving this unity by putting pressure through democratic and civil means on the Palestinian factions focusing on Fatah and Hamas. Palestinian women are adversely affected by these divisions as many of their families are divided, which is why I am adamant that Palestinian women recognize the importance of unity in the Palestinian struggle and their role in achieving this unity." So we're just going to start with our sister Sana, who is going to introduce the next part of the programme. Unfortunately, as all great events, we've had some technical problems, and so we are unable to show a video that was scheduled about women in Gaza. But then we're going to go on to a video from Ramzi Baroud, and then have the panel discussion, and then the cultural performances. Thank you.